Wake up. The alarm doesn't care if you're tired. The world doesn't stop because you had a rough night. And success, it definitely doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It's 5 a.m. Outside, the world is silent, but inside your mind, a war has already begun. Your bed feels like a sanctuary, warm, safe, familiar, and that voice, the soft one, whispers, just 5 more minutes. But here's the truth no one told you. Every minute you stay in that bed is a minute you steal from your future. You think it's just sleep, but it's not. It's resistance. It's delay. It's your old self, fighting to survive while the version you're meant to become is trying to rise. Champions aren't made at the podium. They're made in the silence, in the dark, in moments just like this, when no one is watching, and you have to decide who you're going to be. This is the wake-up call most people ignore, because waking up at 5 a.m. isn't just about rising early. It's about rising up into your power, your vision, your next level. Most people live on autopilot. They hit snooze on the alarm and on their life. They coast, they drift, they wake up when the world tells them to, and they wonder why they feel behind. But not you. You're here because something in you is different. You've got that fire. Even if it's faint right now, it's there, and this moment, this exact second, is the beginning of everything. You're not just waking up from sleep, you're waking up from excuses, from small thinking, from waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. You've waited long enough. Let this be the moment where it all changes, not because the world gave you permission, but because you finally gave it to yourself. No more tomorrows, no more when I'm ready, no more lying to yourself. This is the day you rise. At 5 a.m., the world is quiet. No notifications, no opinions, no distractions, just you, your vision, and your decision. And that's all you need. You don't need motivation. You don't need hype. You don't need applause or permission or a sign from the universe. You need discipline. You need to hear the alarm and move, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, because that's where the transformation begins. Not in what's easy, but in what's earned. And every time you beat the alarm, every time you rise before the sun, you prove something to yourself, that you're in control now, that you're not the same person you were yesterday, that you're not just dreaming anymore, you're becoming. This is your wake-up call, and there's no going back. You wake up before the sun, but now the real war begins. Not outside, not in the world, inside you, that inner voice, the one whispering, go back to bed, you're tired, you've earned more rest. It sounds like reason, but it's not. It's resistance. It's weakness in disguise. Every morning, you don't just rise, you fight. You fight for the life you say you want. You fight the lies your comfort tells you. You fight the gravity of average that tries to pull you back down. And here's the truth. That voice isn't going away. It will always be there, but so will you. Every time you rise, every time you move when you don't feel like it, you remind that voice who's in charge. Discipline is not motivation. It's not inspiration. It's not a quote. It's a decision made before the sun, kept when it's inconvenient. Because the real grind, it's not glamorous. It's you standing in a cold room, putting in work when nobody's watching. It's choosing progress over pleasure, growth over comfort, conviction over convenience. You say you want change, then change has to win the war inside your mind. Not once, but every single day, because here's the secret nobody wants to tell you. You don't need more time. You don't need better conditions. You don't need luck. You need to win the fight inside your head. The voice that says, not today. Answer it with action, with motion, with repetition, because silence won't shut it up. Only discipline will. And that discipline, it builds like armor, one rep at a time, one ignored excuse at a time, one early morning victory at a time, until one day you're not fighting that voice anymore. You're leading it. It becomes your echo, not your enemy. That's how transformation begins, not by changing the world, but by changing your response to the voice that tries to hold you back. This is your battlefield. This is where winners are built. And every morning, you choose whether to surrender or stand and fight. No one is coming to fix your life. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not your government, not the algorithm. Nobody owes you anything. Not support, not applause, not a second chance. Let that sink in, because the sooner you realize it, the sooner you become dangerous, the sooner you take control. This world doesn't reward complaints. It rewards responsibility. You can scream at the sky about how unfair it is. You can post about how you've been overlooked, underestimated, undervalued. But here's the brutal truth. The world doesn't care. And that's not cruel, that's freeing, because if no one owes you anything, then you don't owe anyone permission. You don't need validation. You don't need to be chosen. You choose yourself. You get up and you work. You train when nobody watches. You build in silence. You fail forward. You rise harder. Nobody claps for you. Clap for yourself. Nobody notices your effort. Keep grinding anyway, because your worth is not based on external recognition. It's built in the shadows of unseen discipline. And here's where most people tap out. They wait for things to feel fair. They wait for their turn. They wait for someone to hand them a map. But there's no map. You are the map. You build the road with every decision. You carve the path with your sweat. The moment you stop expecting handouts, you start building outcomes. Entitlement kills greatness. Expecting the world to give you what you haven't earned is the fastest way to stay average. The ones who rise, they're not waiting for things to get easier. They're not checking who's watching. They're in the dirt, grinding with no audience. Because real hunger doesn't need applause. It doesn't need a stage. It just needs purpose. Every day, life will test you. It will whisper, "Why bother? No one's noticing. No one cares." Good. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you. You are not doing this for attention. You're doing it for transformation. You're doing it because there's a version of you buried underneath the excuses and distractions. A version that's relentless. A version that's lethal. A version that doesn't flinch when things get hard. You don't need to be liked. You need to be respected by yourself. And respect is earned in silence, when no one's looking, in the hours the world doesn't see. You want something bad enough? Earn it. Bleed for it. Build it with your own 2 hands. The world may never give you a single thing, but that's fine. Because the greatest thing you'll ever have is the fire you built when no one believed in you. The grind doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you didn't sleep last night, if your muscles ache, if your heart is broken, or if no one's cheering you on. The grind is cold, unforgiving. It doesn't feel sorry for you. It doesn't pause for your feelings. It's not here to listen to your excuses. It's a silent war between who you are now and who you're trying to become. And in that war, your feelings are often the first casualty. See, the grind doesn't respond to motivation. Motivation fades. One bad day and it's gone. But the grind listens to one thing: consistency. It rewards those who show up anyway, those who lace up their shoes when their legs are screaming, those who do the work when the results are nowhere to be found. You don't win by waiting to feel ready. You win by getting up, especially when you don't feel like it. That alarm goes off at 5 a.m., you move. That goal hasn't shown results in months, you keep pushing. Your body says quit, you say, not yet, because the grind doesn't negotiate. It doesn't slow down because you had a rough day. It doesn't bend for your bad mood. It doesn't skip a beat because life isn't fair. Success was never about convenience. It was never about waiting until the stars aligned. It was always about one thing: showing up on the days you wanted to stay in bed. You have to stop trying to make it feel good. This isn't supposed to feel good. Growth hurts. Discipline stings. Sacrifice cuts deep. But every rep you push through, every early morning, every lonely hour, every moment you resist the urge to quit, is one step closer to building a version of you that no one can break. Because while others let their emotions control their actions, you let your actions reshape your emotions. You show up broken, you show up exhausted, you show up unsure, but you show up because your dreams don't care how you feel, they just demand to be built. And if you don't build them, someone else will hire you to build theirs. So what's it going to be? Comfort or legacy? Ease or evolution? You won't get both. There will be days when everything in you screams to stop. Your mind will give you every excuse. Your body will beg for rest. And the world will tell you, it's okay, take a break. But you know what they won't tell you? That every time you take that break, you lose a little piece of your edge. And in this game, your edge is everything. The difference between greatness and regret isn't always massive action. Sometimes it's just one more hour, one more rep, one more page, one more quiet decision to stay in the fight. Because the grind doesn't shout, it whispers, it waits. And when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, it asks, will you keep going? And your answer? It can't be based on how you feel, because how you feel is temporary, but who you become, that's forever. Most people think the enemy is failure, that it's rejection, that it's hard work, but that's not what kills dreams. The real killer of potential is comfort. It's that warm bed you never want to leave, that routine you never question, that safe little life where nothing hurts, but nothing grows either. Comfort whispers, take it easy, you've done enough. Comfort says, you'll do it tomorrow. Comfort rewards you with short-term pleasure, while stealing your long-term greatness. Let's be honest, comfort feels good, it feels safe, but that's the trap. Growth lives outside of comfort. Progress comes wrapped in discomfort, in discipline, in decisions you don't want to make. Comfort says, you deserve a break, but the grind says, you haven't earned one yet. Comfort says, why try so hard? But the warrior inside you whispers, because I'm built for more. Every time you choose comfort, you make a tiny trade. You give away power for peace, potential for pleasure. And if you do that long enough, you wake up one day in a life that doesn't inspire you, a life that's easy but empty. Because listen to this truth, nothing great was born in comfort, not championships, not empires, not change. Greatness is born in sweat, in the silence of sacrifice, in the pain of pushing past what feels good. You think lions get up early because it's easy? You think legends grind through injury because it's fun? Number, they do it because comfort is the enemy, and they are at war. Your mind will lie to you. It'll say, we're fine, we're safe, we're comfortable here. But what it's really saying is, let's stay average, because average is easy, and comfort breeds average, but you weren't built for average. You were built to evolve, to stretch, to burn through the limits that comfort protects. Growth is uncomfortable. That's why most people never grow. They choose the couch instead of the grind, the scroll instead of the strategy, the feeling of right now instead of the vision of what could be. But not you. You're here for more. You feel it, don't you? That fire, that unease in your chest every time you play it safe, that whisper that says, there's more in you if you're brave enough to reach for it. So stop waiting for it to feel right. It never will. It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to scare you. That's how you know you're on the edge of transformation. You want change? Then break your addiction to comfort. Wake up earlier than your excuses. Push through the moments when your body screams, stop. Say no when it's easier to say yes, and say yes when fear tells you to wait, because the uncomfortable road, that's the one that leads to everything you want, every goal, every breakthrough, every version of you you've ever dreamed of being. It's on the other side of comfort. Now the question is, are you willing to suffer now so you never have to suffer regret later?